Oh man, you're so annoying. I can't believe I have a wife like you with no redeeming qualities.
Exactly. I wish you had a better wife, Travis. Here we go again. The mindless rantings of my husband, Travis, and my mother-in-law, Mary. Although this happens daily, I never get used to them. Every time they say something, my heart aches and tears well up in my eyes. But even so, I never shed a tear in front of them. If I did, I would get on their nerves even more. Since our marriage, I have endured their bullying. Travis changed his attitude once I got married to him, and Mary has always looked down on me. But all of this will end soon. If I endure any longer, my heart won't be able to take it anymore. Get out of here as soon as possible.
I don't need a useless wife like you.
The moment Travis and Mary said that to me, I made up my mind. I was going to get revenge on them in the best way I could. My name is Lena Howard, and I am 29 years old. I'm an ordinary housewife living an ordinary happy married life. Not. My hell started 2 years ago. Looking back, it was a mistake to marry my husband. I met my husband Travis 3 years ago, and after dating for a year, we got married. I became a housewife, and at first, we had a wonderful newlywed life, but 2 weeks later, I received a phone call from my mother-in-law, Mary. Lena, I need your help. Oh, Mary, what's going on? I just fell down the stairs and I can't move. What? Are you alright? I'll call an ambulance. No, don't call an ambulance. It's embarrassing. Please, Lena, come to my house right now. Yes, alright. It's a 30-minute drive to my in-laws' house. The housework was still in progress, but now that Mary was in this situation, I had no choice but to rush over. Moreover, my father-in-law, Jack, passed away a few years ago, so Mary currently lives alone. If I didn't come running now, she might end up in a worse situation. So I got out of the house before I could even think about it. When I arrived at my parents-in-law's house, I found Mary crouching down in the doorway with a frown on her face. Mary! Lena, you're late. I'm sorry. I got stuck in traffic, and even with all this, I had to come here as fast as I could. Just lend me your shoulder for now. I think I hit my back. Please, put an ice pack on it. Okay, I'll do it. After that, I put an ice pack on Mary's back despite her complaints. It didn't look like she injured herself badly, but just to be safe, I did as I was told. I stayed at her house and waited for my husband to arrive. Finally, after 8 p.m., my husband arrived.
Mom, are you alright?
Travis rushed into the living room as if in a hurry. Seeing him, Mary smiled, looking very happy. Oh, Travis, you came. Oh, I'll be fine.
When I heard you fell down the stairs, I really panicked. Why didn't you call me earlier?
Because you were at work, right? I knew Lena would be free, so that's why I called her. I've had an ice pack on my back, and I called you at night so I wouldn't bother you.
If you had told me then, I would have left work early.
Well, you really are my sweet son, aren't you, honey? At this point, I felt uncomfortable. Yes, my husband is sweet and kind, but could this comment from Mary be a little too much? It may be bad to say this, but I felt that his concern was somewhat out of line. In other words, he was a mama's boy. However, we had just gotten married at that time, so I could not clearly point this out. 1 month later, on this day, my husband, who had the day off from work, was working hard from morning to clean up our rooms. What are you doing? I casually asked him.
What do you mean? I'm preparing for my mom's move.
Your mom's move? What? Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Oh, I didn't tell you? Mom is moving here tomorrow.
Huh? You're joking, right? You never told me that.
But I don't really have to tell you, right? I'm the one paying the rent, and I'm the one providing for you, Lena.
Well, that's true, but... My husband hums and happily proceeds to clean up the rooms. Usually, he doesn't clean up the rooms even if I ask him to. I can't believe Mary's moving into our place without my permission. But if I say anything more, I'm afraid it will only lead to an argument. Why do I have to be treated this way, just because I'm a housewife? I questioned Travis repeatedly, but he wouldn't budge, saying,
It's already decided.
And,
You have no right to complain.
The next day, Travis was also present during Mary's move. He was supposed to be at work that day, but he took a paid leave to carry and bring Mary's belongings. Of course, I had to help him too, and the whole day was spent helping her move. "Lena, I look forward to living with you for many years to come." Mary said that with a bright smile. Of course, I wasn't really happy, but I barely managed a smile. Likewise, Mary. "Oh yes, I'll be asking you to take care of the house from now on, Lena. And I'll be spending my time relaxing in this house." "Oh, it'd be really great if you could at least help around with the laundry." "No, you're in charge of it. Because you are the housewife, right, Lena?" But... Just as I was about to retort, my husband glared at me with sharp eyes. His gaze made me stiffen, and I couldn't say anything more back to Mary. From then on, I became Mary's convenient servant. Or perhaps it would be more correct to say that I was her housekeeper. I cleaned the house, did the laundry, cooked the meals, and even went shopping for the things Mary needed. But I never received any gratitude or any household expenses from Mary. She says, "I'll give it to you all at once next time." But she has never contributed to our household expenses. Even though I am a full-time housewife, I still have quite a bit of savings that I made before I was married to Travis. I buy my own things from there, but if I have to pay for Mary's things on top of that, I have to spend a lot of money. I was fed up with my husband and Mary not understanding our situation. After about 6 months of living like this, I finally decided to consult my husband, as I could no longer stand my savings running out because of Mary. After confirming that Mary had fallen asleep in her room, I went into the bedroom to talk to him. "You know, Travis, I want you to tell your mom that I want her to pay me back for some expenses properly."
Pay you back? What are you talking about?
I told you before, didn't I? Mary asks me to do some shopping for her, but she won't pay for any of it.
Oh, you were talking about that, huh? But in a way, you're doing that to take care of her, right? So, why don't you just pay for her?
Well, if it's a little amount, that's fine, but if you add it all up, it's almost $5,000.
Oh, $5,000 is nothing to you, Lena, right? Because you worked for a very big company until we got married.
That's right. After graduating from college, I worked for a financial company that was considered a very prestigious company. My annual salary was much higher than my colleagues, and I was even surprised to receive a lot of bonuses. I no longer had any particular hobbies, but saving money became my hobby, and I saved quite a bit. However, since becoming a full-time housewife, I haven't been able to earn enough money or received any money from my husband as an allowance, which is why my own savings have been running out. Then Mary's shopping bills added up, and my savings dwindled even more. I finally raised my voice at my husband, who did not understand my feelings, no matter how many times I pleaded to him. "Why are you always lenient with your mother? You should care a little about me too."
Then why don't you do whatever you want? I'll even allow you to work from home.
"What? Work from home?"
You can work, but all the housework is yours. Well, that's settled then, right? I won't be providing for you anymore.
Wait a minute. I just want to work as long as I can earn enough money for my savings.
Huh? Don't say convenient things. I don't want to provide for you anymore.
No way. At first I thought it was a joke, but my husband really stopped contributing to the household. I was so upset that I immediately contacted my old boss, who was a good friend of mine. When I explained the situation, he asked me to come back since they also have remote work. As a result, I was allowed to work from home for my former company. However, Travis and Mary must have been annoyed that I was working from home on a computer. They interrupted me every time I was working in my room. My husband started complaining about my housework and cursing me on a daily basis, even though nothing had changed. Mary, on the other hand, knocks on my door without a care in the world, even though I am at work. "Hey, Lena! My favorite snacks are out! Are you listening to me? Answer me! You don't have a good job anyway, do you? Do your chores first. Do your chores!" My mother-in-law knocked louder and louder and yelled through the door. I had locked the door so they never came into my room, but their words and actions were causing me daily stress. Why don't they understand me anymore, no matter how many times I tell them? I'm doing my work. Plus, I do all the housework, so just leave me alone already. I used to put a portion of what I earned into the couple's shared account as living expenses, but as soon as I started putting money into the account, my husband stopped depositing. So, on holidays, he and my mother-in-law went shopping together, and sometimes he and my mother-in-law went on trips together. I am no longer my husband's wife. I had become a robot who simply assisted my husband and his mother in their daily lives. Even now, 2 years into our marriage, the current situation has not changed. I thought about getting a divorce many times, but there was no way I could tell my parents, who were so happy about our marriage, that I was divorcing them. Thus, I was just living a life of endurance. I started refusing to do the shopping my mother-in-law asked me to do, but this time she started shopping for me online without my permission. I ended up paying for it because it was also purchased by cash on delivery.
Mary, it's cash on delivery again today. Pay for it.
Again? As you can imagine, it's tough to pay any further.
Don't talk big to me when you're just a daughter-in-law. Who do you think gave you permission to get married?
That's irrelevant now.
Anyway, I'm leaving it to you. If you don't pay, you know what's gonna happen, right?
Lately, my mother-in-law has been yelling at me when I talk back to her. It was the same with my husband, and they both began to abuse me without a care in the world. Then one day, my husband was off that day, but I didn't want to face them, so I decided to stay in my room and work. Then deliberately, so that I could hear them, I heard my husband and mother-in-law talking from outside the door.
Oh, that's really annoying, being a wife with no redeeming qualities.
Yes, indeed. I really, really wish you had a better wife.
Here we go again. The mindless rantings of my husband and mother-in-law. Even though it is an everyday occurrence, I never get used to it. Every time they say something, my heart aches and tears well up in my eyes. Even so, I never shed a tear in front of them. If I cry, it only makes me feel even worse. Will I have to live like this for the rest of my life? My chest tightened at the thought. When lunchtime came and I was reluctantly cooking, my husband and mother-in-law started talking again behind my back.
Why did I marry such a fool?
It's true. Travis would have found a better partner.
As soon as I overheard their conversation, I just opened my mouth. If you hate me so much, shall I leave? At these words, my husband and mother-in-law looked surprised for a moment, but then immediately grinned and said,
Then get the heck out of here.
I don't need a useless daughter-in-law like you.
The moment I saw them smirking and laughing like fools, my heart went cold. I had put up with this for so long because I didn't want to make my parents sad, but that was no longer the case. If I held back any longer, my heart would break. At the same time, a great desire for revenge was growing in my heart. I won't let you guys get away with this. I'll make you both suffer like how you made me suffer. The next day, just as my husband and mother-in-law went out, I withdrew all the money in my account and reduced it to 0. After packing up my belongings, I decided to stay at a former coworker's place that I had contacted beforehand. A few hours later, I received a phone call from my husband.
Where are you?
I said simply to him as he yelled at me. Who cares, right? I won't be back for about a year anyway.
Huh? A year? You gotta be kidding me. What about living expenses?
Since I'm gone, why don't you pay for my mother-in-law's portion? Oh, by the way, I've withdrawn all the money from our account.
Huh? My money was in there too.
You haven't put any money in there since I started working, right? I'll take the $3,000 you deposited as your mother's shopping money. Well, it's not enough at all.
Oh, calm down. I'm in trouble with money right now.
I ignore him, hang up the phone, and blocked his number. I told my parents what happened and asked them not to give my husband any information. The next month, I rented an apartment by myself so that my husband would not know where I was. 1 year later, on this day, I took the divorce papers to the apartment where I used to live. I found that the apartment was already vacant and my husband and Mary were no longer living there. I told the concierge about the situation and asked him where they moved to. He told me they were renting an apartment on the outskirts. When I headed to the place he told me about, I found that it was an older building than I had imagined. I rang the intercom and out came my mother-in-law, gaunt and thin. As soon as she saw me, her eyes widened and she screamed.
Lena, where have you been all this time?
It's been a while. Is Travis here?
He's at work. He got fired from his job because of you. I'm just scraping by on a day job now.
What? Is that my fault?
Yeah, you left, and we had no money and we couldn't eat properly. My son lost the energy to go to work, and he kept missing work and got fired.
But that's not my fault, is it? While we were having this conversation, a familiar voice came from behind me, saying,
Lena?
There stood my husband, who looked nothing like the man he used to be, and who was dressed in filthy clothes.
Oh, Lena, you finally came home. I've been waiting for you for a long time.
I shook off his hand as he approached me and said coldly, I didn't come home. I just brought the divorce papers.
What? Divorce? Are you kidding? I've been waiting for you for a long time.
Well, not me. I was wondering what you've been doing for the past year. I heard you were fired from your job. How far do you have to let people down?
It's all your fault, isn't it? Because you took all the money.
The money in that account is rightfully mine. Or shall I charge you now for the missing money from your mother's shopping spree?
Oh, no, that's... Anyway, please come back. I'm not getting a divorce.
My husband looked very desperate, and I declared clearly, I'm not coming back, and I'm not going to help you. Do you have any idea what it was like living with you people? Don't just talk nicely to me without apologizing at all.
Lena.
I will never forgive you. I hope you regret what you have done and suffer for the rest of your lives. I'm telling you, if you don't agree to the divorce, we'll go to court. I will do whatever it takes to get a divorce, so be prepared. Perhaps the last line had an effect. My husband turned blue and signed the divorce papers. I took the filled out divorce papers and left the place in high spirits. I found out later, but it seems that my husband had borrowed money to take my mother-in-law on trips to try to get her to like him. I guess he thought that with the money I was making, repayment would not be a problem. However, after I left, he had no way to repay the debt, and he became so mentally distressed that he began to miss work without permission, and eventually was fired from his job. His mother was pretty upset that they could no longer live the way they used to, and took out her anger on Travis on a daily basis. They truly are foolish. As for me, now that all my problems are over, I am back working at the office instead of staying at home. Life on my own is easy, and every day is very fulfilling. I'm going to take a relaxing trip on my next vacation. From now on, I want to live a life that makes me happy. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.